Hello, Voiders, and welcome to a fresh edition of I Hate Sundays. Yo, dog on a sock, spin that shit up one time.
Dog on the sock, dance with me. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
It's just one of those wasted days with this view. How long have we been drunk?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I think this is like the third day.
Ever since social services kept child services stopped working. Ever since child services stopped working.
Thursday. So that means we've been drunk. Third day.
Not long.
We've been friendly, lazy little guys today. Yes.
We're peaceful. We're so peaceful.
And it just turned Sunday. The moment where this happens is finally happening. It is almost 3:23,
Oh no!
and the light will go off.
Yakir is going away?
No, the light will just go off. It's not going away.
Oh no, so sad.
Yeah, the little
Oh god, how many minutes do we have?
less than one. Like it's gonna happen any second now.
Okay, let's do it and then I'll write back to Pia.
Yeah. Like it's all. I always find it sad, slightly sad when the light goes out.
Of course it's sad.
Sorry, I had like side boob.
Did you just hear somebody scream or shit?
Yeah!
You caught it on tape.
I did.
Sex lies and real things.
So today, they're putting up these things. I'm awake way too early because they've been making so much fucking noise. But now them bike riders will be protected. So we just found out that that the Canadian-US border is closed for another month till the 21st of July. So we're not gonna be in LA for another month at least. Now I just decided to get drunk. So the review is gonna be pretty drunk probably.
What else is there to do?
I must review a movie and I'll do a trailer reaction today too.
Have you become British all of a sudden?
My lord, I have.
Oh, Shakespeare.
What is it, Master Shakespeare?
Master Shakespeare. I wonder how Master Shakespeare would have felt about all of this.
I don't think Master Shakespeare
I
was
don't
even the
think-
one person.
I don't think Master Shakespeare ever lived through any kind of pandemic.
I don't think Master Shakespeare ever lifted.
Lifted. Yeah. And wait. Or what did you say? No.
Yeah.
I don't think Master
Oh
Shakespeare.
God, my face skin is very unhealthy looking. I'm losing my mind a little.
Are you living your best life?
So many white cars. Yay! Oh my God, guys, that was so gross. I'm going to shave and shower first before I talk about this. Jesus. Okay, much better. So Swallow might be one of the most unpleasant, nauseating, and just downright most difficult movies I have ever watched in my life. And I kind of love it because of that. And you guys know what shit we do on this channel. I mean, I'm somebody who can put on Sallow, a Serbian film, The Human Centipede 2, Cannibal Holocaust, all in a fucking row, and let them run on repeat 20 times. Like, I have seen my good share of sick shit in movies. You know that. And this one kind of hit me on a very, very personal note, because it had this very specific type of grossness and disgust that I kind of do have problems with. So, like, the main issue of this movie is a syndrome called pica, not pica. And pica is the eating disorder in which people eat non-food items. Dirt, clay, and flaking paint are the most common items eaten. And I just kind of find the whole entire thought of all these objects that can't process in your body, that you're just like putting in there, totally shocking and disturbing. Just picture all these rocks and stones and dirt in your body. I mean, like, little kids do that, like, till they're 6 years old. So this is kind of like an actual thing, and that is like sort of what makes this movie so spectacular. I am very sensitive when it comes to food. I don't know why, but when I see food that is that I find disgusting looking or so, I always have to gag and shit. So you have to imagine how I feel when I see a mukbang video or something like that. Like, the puke just rises in me. And in this one, I seriously had to pause the movie a couple of times because I was just so disgusted. And this hardly happens to me at all. So generally, without this just being about an eating disorder, what is this movie about, you might ask me? And it's actually quite a simple story. We have a housewife called Hunter who gets married to a guy called Richie Conrad, and she's married into this totally rich family, and all she does all day is just like normal housewife work. She orders stuff for their new apartment, she cleans, she reads, she's just like living her best life, until one day she grows this fascination with eating things that are not food, like marbles. It starts with marbles, and then it goes on with a little nail, and it just keeps getting more and more extreme as the movie progresses. And I don't want to give too much away because the ending really delivers, if you know what I'm saying. So What I really adored about this was the performance of the lead. Haley Bennett, she does an incredible job here. It's since she's married into this rich family, she kind of gets downplayed by everybody, like including her husband. He kind of seems like a nice guy at first, but if you read between the lines, he doesn't really care for her at all. All he cares about is his money, his job, and the fact that she's going to deliver this kid. And his mother and his father are even worse than that. Like, you can totally already see in his father that her husband, Richie, is going to kind of become the same dude in the future, which is kind of just like the sexist bully, if you want. So during this marriage, after this pregnancy, Hunter really finds herself eating all this stuff, and things get really, really complicated. And during the course of the film, we get to see some incredible character development in Haley Bennett's character. She really does a good job portraying Hunter beautifully, because Hunter goes from this undermined housewife to an actual fighter, and that is kind of like where you start rooting for her while you're watching this movie, because at first you're not really liking any of the characters. It's one of those situations. All the characters are kind of nondescript and you don't really get emotionally attached, but as soon as the eating order disorder starts and Hunter kind of starts finding herself in this whole entire procedure, you are totally on her side. By the end of the movie, you just want her to overcome all the trouble. It's really hard not to talk about the ending without giving away any spoilers, guys. So I'm gonna stop talking about plot. So what else I gotta say is the cinematography of this is very beautiful. Also, like, the pacing and generally the way the story is told, the way the film is generally presented, it reminded me very much of Yorgos Lanthimos, who did films like The Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Lobster, and even The Favorite. I see there being a lot of parallels between his work and the work of Carlo Mirabella Davis, who made Swallow. I don't know if the parallels were, if there was any kind of inspiration, or if these are just two directors with a similar style, but I generally love what is going on here. And while we're on the subject of Carlo Mirabella Davis, this was like his first film as a writer and a director. So far, he's been just generally producing stuff and just like making one or the other short, and seems to be his first real feature film. This was a political thing for him. He went in this with some really political intentions of like things that he wanted to portray and statements that he wanted to make.
Well, the idea for Swallow came from my grandmother, who was a homemaker in the 1950s in an unhappy marriage, who developed various rituals of control. She was an obsessive hand washer, and she would go through 4 bars of soap a day and 12 bottles of rubbing alcohol a week. And I think it was a way to find order in a life that she felt increasingly powerless in. And my grandfather, at the advice of the doctors, put her into a mental institution where she received electroshock therapy, insulin shock therapy, and non-consensual lobotomy. And she lost her sense of taste and smell. And I always felt that there was something punitive about how she was being treated, that she was being punished in a way for not living up to society's expectations of what they felt a wife or a mother should be, and for being different. And I wanted to make a film about that. But hand washing is not very cinematic, you know? So I remember seeing a photograph of all the objects inside the stomach of someone who had pica that had been surgically removed and put on a table. And I was fascinated. She does not see a connection at first between the pregnancy and the swallowing of the pica. I don't think she sees them as related in her conscious mind. In her unconscious mind, yes, they're very much related. The pregnancy triggers the pica initially.
So now what I didn't like about it, there's really not a lot that I didn't like, even with because I was so disgusted is like a reason why I actually like the film. It is very difficult to make me so nauseous while I'm watching something. And I thought the ending came maybe a little too sudden. I would have liked to see a longer third. I would have really liked to see a longer third act. I would have also loved to see what was going on with the other characters during the ending, because they don't really focus much on other characters. It is a little woozy, but the ending is still good per se. There's just like some things that are missing. I could see the pacing generally of the movie be a little faster. The first act was maybe a tad too slow, but that's just like my opinion. If you're big on slow burn movies, you're going to really enjoy the first act, because that is also where some of the best cinematography of the film kind of takes place. And yeah, like, this is definitely something I'd recommend you guys to see. Don't wait for it when it comes on streaming. Check it out as soon as possible, because this is kind of a test for everyone watching. So you're gonna have fun with it, but be sure. I advise you not to eat anything during or before watching this movie, because you really might puke. But that's just me. I'm very sensitive when it comes to like food stuff, so that's just me. Check this one out. It's really good. Yeah. And I'm going to give Swallow a 7 to 8 out of 10. I'm not sure yet. I'm more leaning towards an 8. But let's say 7 to 8 for now.
I did something unexpected today.
Now let's look at our little chart. Swallow has done an impact on our chart, as you see. The top 5 is newly placed. The Hunt is now at the bottom of the top 5, and The Wretched has been kicked out. Holding very heavily here. The Invisible Man and Becky and The Lodge are still our best movies of the year, but Swallow isn't really that far from it. The bottom still hasn't changed much. We've been getting a lot of good movies recently, so that's pretty good. The year was kind of off to a bad start with films, and then the year just got worse, but the films got better, if you want to see it that way. All right, guys. Let's take a look. Let's do a trailer reaction to finish off the Sunday. So, for today's trailer reaction, we are going to take a look at You Should Have Left, because I was thinking that we review that on our next I Hate Sundays episode. I have never heard of this movie before. This just popped into my eyes like in the last couple of days, because the first reviews are coming in for it already. What startles me here the most is that we got Amanda Seyfried and Kevin Bacon in the leads, which is sort of a combination that I would actually like have never thought of putting on screen at the same time. Especially I hear that Amanda Seyfried is playing Kevin Bacon's wife, which stirs up a bit of controversy for some people because of their big age difference, but I never really care. I always kind of believe that people should be into whatever they want to, as long as there is general consent and as long as everybody is over 18 involved. So that's my stance. Like, I couldn't care less. I think they are two amazingly talented actors, and I am just dying to find out what this new little thriller is with these two absolute bedazzling actors in it. So, without further ado, let's check out the trailer to You Should Have Left. Here goes.
Come away with me.
Oh,
I love you so much.
really, Kevin Bacon? Ooh.
Just you and me and Ella.
Daddy, because you're old, you died before mommy, right?
Hey, not that old.
They're even making a topic of this age difference in the movie itself. I like it. It's like they're commenting back to the audience.
Listen. Quiet.
Oh yeah, of course. Listen, the quiet. This is a trope you'd use mostly in Lifetime movies, people. But still. I am liking the general look of this so far. I hope this young child actress is better in the movie than in the trailer. There was a shadow on the wall. Sounded kinda not well. Oh no, it's Blumhouse.
Jesus, you got no switches.
So I'm getting this very
This is swallowed right to you.
homey vibe. Everything's
26 feet.
kind of only happening in these four walls.
Longer on the inside.
Like in this house, I mean.
How does that work?
It doesn't.
Anything happened yet?
You chose this, not me.
You sent me the link.
I absolutely did not. You said
This
it
is-
to me.
I'm liking the use of the switch sounds with the editing in this trailer. It's very effective.
I hate it.
I'm just getting some tension, but not too much. Oh, producer of The Invisible Man. I hate it when they put the jump scares in the movies already
That one.
What sort of house?
in
Why
the
do you hate Daddy so much?
trailers.
The judge and the jury all found him innocent, but some people didn't believe him.
The house shows
He
me.
must be guilty of something.
I'm still not understanding if this is more of a supernatural phenomenon here in the house or something completely different.
The right ones usually find the place. Or maybe it's the other way round. The place finds them.
The place finds them. Kind of a little oversaturated cliche line we have there. So I don't know. I'm getting a lot of mixed feelings for this. I am a big fan of the acting. Like I said before, I don't think Kevin Bacon and Amanda Seyfried could even pull off a shitty performance if they wanted to. What I am more or less a little bit skeptical about is the script. Because I'm seeing Blumhouse all over this. And I'm not talking the good kind of Blumhouse, like, let's say, The Invisible Man, or let's say, The Hunt. No, I'm talking about Gretel and Hansel kind of bullshit. Like, too many jump scares, too many cliche tropes, one bad child actor too many. That's kind of like the shit I'm fearing here, because this trailer was just so fucking Blumhouse. It didn't really get more Blumhouse than... It doesn't really get more Blumhouse than this. So I got some mixed feelings. I wonder how things will be when we actually do check it out, which will be in the next I Hate Sundays episode. So look forward to that. So I'm gonna end today's episode. I know it's not one of our longers or one of our better ones. We're kind of a bit lazy this week, but not really. Like, we have a lot of stuff to do. A lot of offices and places and services have opened that we need to use to get our documents straight and be able to come back to LA. So we're pretty much handling a lot of bureaucracy at the moment and not really having as much fun as we'd want to be, but it's all for the good fight, for the hopes that we'll be back home soon. The borders won't be opening until July 21st, so we'll have to wait till then at least. We might even do a small trip to Europe. I don't know. Anything's possible. But we're on it. We're trying to get back home really badly. So I promise you, I'll put a bit more effort into the next Sunday next week. And I'll see you then. Bye, guys. Go to drugs! Go to school! Cause it's cool to be a lawyer or a doctor. Don't give a fuck about your life. Fuck it up, yeah. Wasted potential every day, that's how I roll. You don't even look at me, cause I'm a motherfucking troll. You don't care, you don't see me. I don't give a fuck living life, that's how we be.